Welcome, everybody, to the Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Adrian Hernandez, and I'm here with Mr.
Nick Ramirez.
And we got the one and only Mr. Ali. What's up,
sir?
Ali?
What's up?
Introduce yourself, man.
Ali Kasira, born and raised in Bell, California.
Let's go.
Middle Eastern, trilingual, got into the business of real estate, did not even know what an escrow was. To be honest, I thought it was a funky word.
I was going to say welcome Ali and his last name, but I can't pronounce his last name. So just have you introduce yourself.
It's all good. We roll with it. Like 98% of the people get it
wrong.
So.
Well, I didn't even know his last name for the longest time. And in my phone, it says Ali Agent. So
I was like,
which is fine.
Let's change that.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Ali Kasira.
That's kind of messed up, dude. He classified you.
Yeah, he did classify me. Well, technically, he kind of met me only as an agent.
Yeah.
We met as an agent.
On the Zoom call.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you can explain that because remember the Zoom call, like right when COVID happened in March, there was like 10 of us on the Zoom every single day, right? Just kind of hanging out, cold calling all day. We hit our lunch breaks at 12, right? So to go into that, remember that the whole time it was a lot of fun.
We used to share our wins. It was real cool. That's so how I got connected with Adrian. We were part of the same brokerage at one point, and you were leading another office. And I didn't know who you were really, but I was coming into the business brand new. You would host these Thursday meetings, and whenever I would just fucking leave that thing inspired, man. Yeah. Like I would feel inspired, and I'd feel pumped. I'm like, man, I didn't even know how tall you were, honestly, until afterwards, because you looked the same height on camera.
You look tall on camera.
Yeah, so I just remember there was one meeting, and you were just sweating bullets, dude. Like your shirt was drenched in sweat after the meeting.
It was after Tony Robbins.
I was like, man, I gotta get connected with this dude. So I literally used to cold call you and be like, hey, dude, you don't know me, but I know you, and I need your opinion on this. And you're like, I know part of you is like, who the hell is this guy? But it's crazy because after Kobe passed away,
right,
I heard him mention something to the same effect that he used to reach out to people who he felt inspired by, right, and he used to just cold call.
Yeah.
And I said, and I really reflected on that, and I was like, you know what? That took a lot of. I kind of really didn't know what I was doing. I would know how I feel if somebody called me randomly like that.
For sure.
Like, kind of look at it sideways a little bit, but man, it just goes to show the impression you left. But to circle it all around, I used to call you, and we got connected, and then opened up my eyes to wholesaling after you went onto a new path. And, it just kind of, it grew into something beautiful, in my opinion.
So what do you do, Ali, for those people that are like, who's this Ali guy, right? Like, what do you do?
I do a lot of different things. I'm on a path where I want to build generational wealth and become a full-time entrepreneur. Right now, I wear the agent cap. I wear the wholesaler cap. I'm also made it a focus this year to build some great relationships. So,
love it.
I'm in the business of building relationships.
Yeah.
So I kind of wear all the caps here and really trying to continue to add to my tool belt and how I can not only, leave my fingerprint with people I know on a personal level, but on a business level as well.
That's good, man. How long have you been in the business?
This is my 5th year.
Your 5th year?
Yes, sir.
Wait, so how were you? How second year in the business when we all started collabing?
Probably about, second going into the 3rd year. All I know is that, like, literally there was only maybe 4 days where I sat on my ass not doing anything during COVID, where I was just fucking locked into the news. Like, hey, I'm going to fall into the story. And I think it was Cedric, you're listening to this. Cedric Adams is the one that's like, hey, Adrian's hosting a
Cedric, that's right.
A squat up. Dude, we're all hopping on this thing. I just remember telling my girl at the time, we were in a 1-bath apartment, and we're just like, hey, babe, just don't bother me. I'm going to be in this room. I reorganized our whole bedroom. She's like, what the hell's going on?
Is that the one in Whittier with the duplex, right? Was it behind?
No, we were in Downey.
That was a different one?
That duplex is another story.
I remember, it was, in a room and stuff, and I'd hear the dogs barking in the background.
Oh, that's right.
I basically got kicked out for doing affirmation. We would do affirmations in the morning. We would do affirmations in the morning, and then I got basically the boot from there because they had an issue. And the interesting thing is that it was an agent, the wife, that lived in the front unit, and she was part of, our old brokerage. So she understood, and that's why just haters, man. They see young bucks coming up, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't like, nobody likes what we get yelled at doing affirmations here, right? And it's because people are like, I don't know, I guess it's just outside of the realm, and It's positive. People don't like that shit. It's loud, right?
Yep. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What about uncomfortability in this business, right? Because we're talking about real estate.
Yeah.
And the both of you have gone through some, I think we all have gone through some really uncomfortable situations. But you guys being super young, the both of you kind of have like a similar struggle. Like, let's just talk about that related to getting deals and making money. Because a lot of us think that some of us are born into, like sales. We automatically have the gift of gab or a bunch of hallucinating bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I was actually listening to a podcast with Tom Brady. As we know, he retired, and they interviewed Bill Belichick, and they went over the last 20 years of their relationship, and they talked about a lot about uncomfortability, about understanding that every single day you're walking into a room and sometimes things are tough. You're going through film, you're going through practice, you're going through training, you're also going through leadership. And you also have to understand it's not you can't win without the coach, and the coach can't win without the quarterback, because you have your job. And so guess what? You're walking into a very big, it's a different, I guess, mindset you could think, because it's football versus real estate, but it's the same mindset of also getting uncomfortable with knowing the fact, how are we going to get better every single day? And just like we are in sales, it's not a natural act. I think it's just a consistent flow of getting better and getting on the phones and not being scared of a seller yelling at you on the phone, or a buyer not wanting to connect with you because you said the wrong thing, or might have came off in a way where it might have sounded uncomfortable or weird.
Right.
You have to understand the fact that it's an everyday process to get better.
Yep.
And if you're not comfortable in sales, where else are you going to be comfortable at?
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing that was a good thing.
And accept the rejection. Like, I think so many of us try to fight the rejection, right? Like, we're trying to avoid the rejection, right? Like, I feel the more we get rejected, the better possibility we have of winning, right? It's kind of like if you're dating, right? And I'm married, so I'm not putting myself in this situation. But if you were dating and you lined up 100 women and you went one by one, will you date me? Yes, no, yes, no. You're going to get rejected. But eventually, one of those 100 are going to say yes, right? Yes. And that's what we're looking for, is just that one person that say yes. But so many people have a hard time just putting themselves in that situation. Like you mentioned cold calling me, right? Like, how uncomfortable is that? And how many people actually, let alone cold call a person that they are inspired by, let alone somebody that they don't even know to get business?
100%. Yeah. And as you're talking about, like, hey, 100 girls, and then you're asking each one, is like, hey, after each one of them, you're like, hey, my pitch was a little too long on that last one. I'm gonna shorten it up a little bit, right? Like, let me get to the point right away. And it's the same thing in our business. Like, look, we get not physically, but we get kicked in the teeth sometimes over the phone. And
for sure.
And the interesting thing, and I think that it's a great thing also, is that we have systems in place to be able, and we're aware of certain things. Look, we're going through some tough times right now, more than ever, especially if we're making these calls. We got to be on top of our game, because there's people that are professional litigators out there, and, they're trying to make a quick buck, and they're budgeting and pinching pennies right now. So it's a great thing when you think about it in that aspect too. Because it's like that with everything in life, right?
Well, the game's changing. We were talking about this on the coaching call today. The game is changing massively. Like, we're at I believe, Ty said this, it was so good. We're about, innings. We're probably the 7th, 8th inning of the last good go around of maybe cold calling and text messaging. Text messaging for sure. Text messaging without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
That really, when he said that, I was like, you put things into perspective a little bit, and you mentioned omnipresence, and I think it's important.
Well, we got to diversify our marketing, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are caught up in the old marketing. Not to say cold calling doesn't work. Like, we just brought on 4 more cold callers this week, right?
Nice.
Because we also understand the numbers. But moving forward, as Ty is mentioning, like the 7th, 8th inning, who knows how many more years we have of lucrative cold calling. We all see the challenges that cold calling is bringing today. It's not what it was 3 years ago. No. We had an 11x return in 2019? Mm-hmm. 11x, not percent, X on cold calling.
What was it last year?
Not anywhere near.
Not even 1%. Remember, it's like a 0.75.
Yeah, like we barely. No, it was more than that. It was a 3x. It was more than that.
But it was very little, though,
compared to the 10.
Yeah, and I know even texting, right? Like texting and doing that.
We had a 12x return in 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
There were people who didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Deal. Yeah. And just so you guys know, this is sending text messages.
Hey, there was an individual on our team that got 13 deals in 1 month.
That's what I'm saying. Just
literally just by doing this.
There's no
experience. I told you about that.
Yeah, when I started that, it was a little bit overwhelming. I didn't have people I could delegate to. I was kind of running a one-man show, and I've been blessed enough to be able to be in the presence of you and other great mentors of mine, where I realized like it's super important who we put in place. And I want to touch on something that he said, and it reminded me of when we spoke with Gino had that presentation, and he goes, when people are doing their job, I work for them. When they're not doing their job, they work for me.
Yeah.
That is like some real boss stuff there, because at the end of the day, it's the difference between being a boss and being a leader.
So good. Say that again.
When you're doing your job, I work for you. When you're not doing your job, you work for me.
Solid.
That's beautiful.
That's good. I like
Thank
that.
You,
yeah. and it's interesting that's the importance, I think, of exposing yourself and opening yourself to being uncomfortable.
For sure.
Yep.
Because if I didn't join these communities and I didn't make myself vulnerable and go to events literally by myself where I don't know anybody there, and I'm just literally walking in, your heart's pumping like, damn, all right. Do I look cool?
Yeah.
Like, am I good?
Yeah.
But you kind of just toss it out like, I'm not here for that shit. I'm here to really, and it's that once, I don't know where it come from, but where it came from, it's the one sentence you hear or that you might miss that that will change your life.
Changes the game.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
And that's why I think, you hear coaching, right? You hear a bunch of coaching, right? You coaching. It's all over the place. But it is important to get involved in coaching, at least get involved in a big room. Like that's where my mind, like Tony Robbins, for me, business mastery changed the game, right? That's when I met Chris Crone. That's when I got experience to people that were making real money. Like I thought before $1 million was a lot of money. Like I remember being like, I want to be those guys, the $1 million guys, right? And now I'm like, $1 million? Fuck.
Yeah.
I wonder look at how much taxes they got to pay, right? How much of the million are they really keeping? So I got to make double, triple, quadruple what?
Well, now it's like $1 million. We spend $1 million in marketing.
Yeah.
Like it's like $1 million is expenses now, right? Where before $1 million was a lot of money. And that also goes to show like just the power of money, how the power of money have changed. Like when we were kids, right? When we were kids, $1 million was like
everything
was right. Now that's what, $1 billion?
Correct.
Because it's no longer $1 million.
Do you think one day $1 billion is going to become the new million?
Oh, 100%. We're already kind of
the inflation's already freaking catching up.
So like $1 trillion is going to be a normal thing then.
Yeah. I mean, you can't buy a house in Orange County under $1 million. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, how much does your house go up? What's it worth now?
Probably. I mean, if I haven't looked at it specifically, but I probably got about 100,000 in equity in under a year.
Oh, you don't live in the little 1-bedroom apartment anymore?
No, not the 1 bedroom. Well, after the 1 bedroom. Okay, so I was in an apartment. Then I moved to a duplex behind, again, the whole affirmation situation. And it's a great question because it opens up, like when I really reflect on it, it's a timeline of things that happen. Cool. Yeah. And, I went from that apartment to the duplex. From the duplex, I went to a single family residence, and I was still renting, and it was a nice area. And I went through some uncomfortable changes. I switched brokerages.
Right.
Again, like not only continuing to like just be comfortable with where I'm at with my current mentors, but being exposed to other people who are making. So, my broker, Jovi Escusa, he's, for people that know him, he's been big in the traditional real estate realm for a long time.
Yeah, he's the man.
And I just remember he told me one day, he's like, you sell a lot of real estate, and, you came and asked for my daughter's hand in marriage, and like you told me you didn't own any real estate. I don't know how to feel about you. And that kind of stung. 8 months later, I bought my own house. And it wasn't like, oh, I had the money saved up or anything. I set my mind to it. We were in a great market. I worked my ass off. I worked hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it can be tiring. But when you have a goal or a carrot that you're chasing, David Goggins says we always have about 10% more, 20% more than we think that we do.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. When you're at that 6th rep, you got 4 more. And then he says you still got 4 more after that.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to push forward or are you going to be comfortable? That's where the uncomfortability sets in right there.
For sure.
Which is awesome.
It's also inspiring. Oh, a lot of struggles.
For sure.
Yeah. It's also inspiring each other too, because I remember you and I talking about you buying a house at that time. You had just did it, and you were inspired by how he did it.
Exactly.
Right. So, like for all of us, it's important that we're sharing that inspiration with one another, because you never know what the other person gets from it, right? Real fast, some of you are probably wondering, Ali, affirmations, Ali getting kicked out. And we run a morning call, and on the call, we say affirmations. So we scream out, I'm alive, I'm excited, I'm full of energy. Now I am the voice, right? And we say it so loud. Ali was in an apartment, he was saying it so loud, pissed everybody off, and they kicked him out. So if you're wondering what the affirmations
got the boot. Got the boot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the interesting thing as well about you saying, Nick, we were all making money together. Like I was very naive to wholesaling. I would call Nick and say, hey, dude, look, like, I know that this is not a retail lead. This is what I think it is. He would say, okay, look, if you could try to get it around this price, I think I can disposition it at this price. So what I would do, and me, I'm like, throw me in the water and let me swim. And that's what I did. And it was like, hey, dude, I got the contract. You get to sell. We're all making money. A lot of those commissions that I made from wholesaling was a big part of the down payment. I took advantage of low interest rates. And I think every market has its pros and its cons. Yeah. And for me, I was right. having resistance. Should I buy a multifamily first, or should I buy something for my family?
Right.
My wife was pregnant. And I talked to Eddie Salinas and Omar Alfaro about it. We were at an event. We were at your birthday party, actually. Yeah. We were at dinner at your birthday party.
South of Knicks.
Yeah, and I asked them about, hey, like, what would you do if you were in my position? And both of them instantaneously said, take care of your family first, figure all the other shit out after.
Yep. 100%. 1000%.
Yep.
And I think, let's talk about the real fast. You guys think you're real cool with your low interest rates, huh?
Non-QM.
I just think you're real.
Non-QM, no points.
Cool with your
you are the one that forced me to buy a house under market value.
You guys seen that meme?
Fix it up.
What's the meme of the
royalty?
Looking down at everybody who didn't get a 3.5% interest rate or lower. Yeah, whatever, guys. All right. Anyways, let's talk about this, because this is important.
Yeah.
So, and actually, I want to talk to you about. Then we'll talk offload.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's a blessing.
Hey, we're on a podcast. Hey,
no, but we'll do it together.
Secrets,
but, there was a blessing that came from you owning that house. By the way,
explain it, please. I'm okay.
Well, you know what happened.
Yes.
The whole situation.
That's okay.
Had you not had that house, right? Had you not gone through that situation, I don't think I had that hallucination the other day. Had you not gone through that situation, you wouldn't have the house. So what a beautiful fucking blessing.
Oh, yes. I connected the dots. Blessing. Yes, I know exactly. I think he's going over his head.
Because I remember you and I had that conversation, and I'm like, what does she want? And you're like, dude, gotta get a house. And I'm like, well, and that's what you gotta do.
Maybe just things for me.
It just
happened. Yeah, well, I'm just trying to process that right now, because that's cool.
Sorry. Well, that's what I know.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but it was a milestone in your life, man. And
talk about that. Like, so you got a house. Yeah. You got a killer deal. It's worth,
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Wow. So
I'm like, I got a pretty good deal, but it wasn't a killer deal. Like, you got a killer deal on it.
I'll sum it up real quick, because I think I told you quite a few times. I got the deal off of like those garage sale signs, like the sponsored ads for real estate.
Yeah.
I cold called her, and she had 2 listings coming up. I said, I want the biggest one out of the 2, and she said it's 1,800 square feet. And so we ended up getting the deal under contract. I picked it up for $885. I put in more than I did at the time, but I put it in like 65. So I was all in for, what is that, like $950.
Right.
And at the time, it appraised for 1.3, which was about.
So bought it. Well, so you're all.
I bought it June 2021.
Got an appraisal at
March of 2022 for 1.3.
Okay.
And then my neighbor just sold for 145. But if I was to put in the middle right now, probably 135.
So 9, what is that? 400 grand, 375, 380, and some change of equity.
In equity.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there.
You can burr it, right? Sale.
Oh, and that's a burr.
I could burr that.
Oh, that's a burr.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember we were you were even thinking like, hey, should I
could pull my initial investment out. I only put 10% down, because I was like, what should I do, Adrian? Should I put down 10%? As low as you can get down for the interest rate and to payment for it to make sense. Yeah. Dude, my payment is super good. The taxes aren't even that bad too, because it's OC. They have a little taxes, like those tax assessments and whatnot, and OC. But dude, like, I think when the opportunity was there and I knew, you said at the time, I have to find something because I don't want to live in that apartment I was in Irvine. I do want to move into a place where I can manifest. And that's where I think manifestation and setting intentions really come to fruition. And I'm a huge believer, and I've been through it hand over hand, and so have you, and so have you. And so people will just start to believe in themselves. Good shit happens to them. Mm-hmm. But if you think negative, like we had that yesterday with our team, if you start to manifest the shitty sellers that give the shitty discount prices, guess what? You're going to get the shitty sellers with the discount prices. Yep. They're never going to call you. But if you reverse it and get the good sellers that are cooperative, and I'm saying they're cooperative, easygoing, answer every single phone call to give us a price at a discount for it to make sense for everybody, to hit our minimum standard on every deal, that's what we manifest. 250 times a year.
You get what you look for.
Exactly.
I read that every morning in the $1 Million Being.
That's huge.
I work with nice, decisive people who love doing business with me,
who knows
what they want. And the interesting thing is, like, I've been real consistent this month, and full vulnerability. It's those little things that, like, hey, I'm just jumping on the bike in the morning when I'm going when I'm at the gym. I do my first 5-10 minutes just to get a good sweat going. And why not read that? I put on some nice little meditation music while I'm reading it, and I'm starting to remember. I don't even got to really read it anymore.
For sure.
But as soon as he said that, you see my RAS went directly to there. Yeah. I work with nice, decisive people who know what they want and need people like me to buy and help sell their real estate.
For sure.
That do not necessarily need top dollar. This is a natural balance in the universe.
Yep. It's huge. It's, when you look at this industry, right, we all prospect, but why does one person do 100 deals and why do one person do 10 deals? It's simply because what they choose to believe, and most importantly, what they choose to receive. A lot of people have a hard time receiving that. Like, I talk to people and I'm like, why don't you make 100 grand in 1 month? And they're like, there's no way. They block off the receiving. How about allowing yourself and saying, you know what? I earn $100,000 a month. Yes. How about just saying that to yourself and even though it's not in front of you, just mentally fucking believing it, and you'll be surprised what happens.
Correct.
Like that's the game changer. Like that really is the game changer.
Yeah.
Nick was mentioning about buying, I bought an LC. I grew up in Los Angeles, Bell, California. And I remember when I first wrote, you and I started coaching together, and I wrote my 3-year letter to myself.
Yep.
And it was a 3 or 5 year letter to myself. And I did it by the second year. Like, I checked off some of the boxes. I wrote that I was going to buy a house in Orange County. I wrote that I was going to have an assistant and other people to delegate stuff to. It's not exactly where I'd like it to be, but I've gotten, you don't got to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. I'm full of quotes today. I'm full of quotes today. Like, I knew these types of conversations bring those out. And it's a reminder that, like, all is well, man. Things will happen. Not working with heavy sellers, never say the wrong thing to the right person.
Yeah. Yep. You can never say the right thing to the wrong person.
No, you can never say either one. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can never say the right thing to the wrong person.
I love that. That's good.
Yep. Got to be an allowance, man.
For somebody that's new in the industry, we're going to have Ali on, guys, back, if you can come back.
Right? Yes.
This segment's about 30 minutes long, and then we'll have Ali come back for a second segment. But what I want to know is for agent, and from the both of you, right, for new agents, right, they're getting into the industry, or agents that have maybe been in the industry, but they're not getting any traction. What are 1 to 2 things that you would give each of you, give an agent to either A, get their first deal, or B, start to gain some momentum, which is in essence the same thing.
Wow, I'd say, what is there you cannot do? There's so many things people go out there and do. I mean, you can get a mentor.
What should they focus on, though? Like, what would you do?
What would I do personally? Hire someone that's doing it at a high level. Someone that's in our office that actually is producing and is in the office every single day, and you see them in the trenches. That's the person I want to sit closest next to learn from them. Because now I'm not only being mentored by them, but now they're showing me the ropes, and now I can give my time and maybe pay for my time as well to bring someone to help me get to where they're doing and produce. And that's probably one way. The other way too is just If you're in sales, you have to understand you're in sales. It's not going to be given to you to try and get a lead. Yes. You're going to have to go produce the opportunity. You're going to have to go out there, make yourself uncomfortable. People forget you're in sales. What do? That equals you're talking to people. So what Brent Daniels says is TTP, talk to people. So do what that is. If you're not good with talking with people or in general, it's probably not the business. And I'm going to say that out there for a lot of people who want to dabble in real estate, want to hang out. And, if you're all in, 2 feet in, jump all in, don't be 1 foot, 1 foot out. But it's truly getting in line with people who actually want to help you succeed in this business. Because trust me, the people do it at a high level.
Yeah.
Don't be a secret agent.
No.
Don't
no
be
way.
Don't be a secret wholesaler.
I love what you just said, though, because a lot of you do not belong in the industry. A lot of you do. And you shouldn't be in the industry, but you don't. That was so good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that was really good. We've talked about it before. There's a big correlation with the stuff that we do, that's not necessarily real estate related, that helps with our success. You were talking about being in receiving, so or being in a receptive mode. Doing the things that I was just talking about, reading $1 Million Being. It's a little reading, taking 5 minutes out of your day to read the $1 Million Being while you're doing already your morning routine at the gym. That will in turn it just.
But somebody doesn't have the $1 Million Month Being. What do you tell them to do? They need to move the needle forward this month in their business.
Yes.
What do you tell them?
Get yourself disciplined. Get a nice morning routine. Get the blood flowing. Get in the office early. Talk to people. Make calls. Make contacts. Like if you're having real estate related conversations, whether it's with a network of people, to collaborate, reach out. Like I know for me, I came from sales into real estate. I work in the retail industry.
Right.
Getting into real estate, I had this big hesitancy to reach out to my COI because I didn't want him to think I was salesy. Right? I didn't want him to think I was a salesman.
Right.
Don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret investor. Make yourself vulnerable. Like wear it with honor. Wear it with pride.
Yeah. I'll sum up what the both of you said and do talking to people.
That's right? It. Yeah.
Get out there and talk to people. I challenged everybody on our call today. Get out there and start to get to the point where you're talking to 40 new people every day. You talk to 40 new people every day with the right intention and the right focus. There's no way you can't make money. It is impossible. This is a numbers game. It's impossible.
Yep.
So
numbers game.
Ali, if people want to find you, how do they get a hold of you?
Ali Sells Real Estate on Instagram. And that'd probably be the best way. Yeah.
I love it.
And then with just hit me up, 323-313-9299.
I love it. A lot of people give their number on these calls, and sooner or later, someone's going to really regret it. I really know they are. I know they are.
There was a little moment I had to see, but I got 2 numbers, so you guys don't got the real one yet. Let's build some rapport first.
It's all good.
Build some rapport first.
Right on, dude. What's today was fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this is cool, man. Yeah. This is the first time that I've had the opportunity to do this, and I think I've said building network of people.
For sure.
I'm okay. Give me a call. Like, hey, just don't be creep when you call, Yeah. But we'll figure it out.
Good luck. Well, we appreciate having you on.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
Thanks,
we'll have you back out.
Thanks, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning in today for another Real Estate Roundtable. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Ali, and see you guys in the next one. Let's go.